Good morning, and welcome to the First Existentialist Congregation of Atlanta. We are a philosophically based spiritual community founded on existential philosophy and feminist principles and dedicated to human liberation and the protection of the natural world. My name is Patton White, and I will be facilitating this morning's Sunday celebration of life. Excuse me. The First Existentialist Congregation of Atlanta acknowledges that its sanctuary and the homes of most of its members stand on land taken from indigenous Muskogee or Creek people. In the 19th century, the United States of America forcibly seized Muskogee and Aniunawiwa or Cherokee lands for the plantation economy of Georgia and other profitable ventures that continue to benefit many Caucasian Georgians today through generational wealth. Our opening words for today are as follows. Out of the decisions that we make in life, our self emerges. What we choose in life is not the thing chosen out there, but oneself. This was Luis Enrique Cavazos from The 5 Virtues That Awaken Your Life. This morning we will be hearing a familiar congregational song, Freedom is a Constant Struggle, with our musicians Mick Kinney, Jean Heinrich, and Robert Stewart. So please rise in body or spirit as you are willing and able to join in singing Freedom is a Constant Struggle. Take it away, musicians. A big thank you to our musicians and for that wonderful rendition of a very familiar tune for us. This morning we will be hearing again from our Reverend Marsha Mitchiner, our fellowship minister. Reverend Marsha Mitchiner was ordained by us, the First Existentialist Congregation, after several years of study with founding minister R. Lanier Clance. Today, she is part of the connective tissue of our congregation, holding together disparate elements, reaching out to folks whom we haven't heard from recently, and comforting those who need support. She plays in the dirt whenever she can, refreshes herself with her partner on trips to the Georgia mountains, and shares her thinking with us several times a year. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Marsha Mitchiner. Marsha.
Good morning. This Monday, May the 31st, is Memorial Day in the United States, a day dedicated to remembering and honoring the men and women who have died while serving in the U.S. military, most during combat. Tamara Bolton stated, "This is the day we pay homage to all those who didn't come home. This is not Veterans Day. It's not a celebration. It is a day of solemn contemplation over the cost of freedom." If you had asked me to guess when this day actually began, I would probably have said post-World War I, but actually it began following the Civil War. Near the end of the war, thousands of Union soldiers were held as POWs of the Confederacy. They were herded into hastily assembled prison camps in Charleston, South Carolina, one of them on an old racetrack. Many of these soldiers died from disease or exposure, and they were buried in a mass grave. On May the 31st, 1865, 3 weeks after Robert E. Lee surrendered his troops of the Confederacy to Ulysses S. Grant, more than 1,000 former slaves and others came together to create a proper burial site dedicated to what they called Martyrs of the Racecourse. I couldn't help, when I heard this, to think of this as a double entendre. Even before the end of the war, women's groups across the South gathered informally to decorate the graves of the Confederate dead, and it became a yearly event, sadly, because the war continued. History suggests that in 1868, when he heard of this Southern tradition, General John Logan, leader of an organization for Northern Civil War veterans, called for a nationwide Day of Remembrance, a day designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. 6 years later, 1874, now I know this is going to be hard to believe, Georgia became the first state to make Confederate Memorial Day a public holiday. Georgia was quickly followed by 9 other southern states. Even today, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Texas still celebrate Confederate Memorial Day. Growing up in Georgia, I remember Confederate Memorial Day as the day we didn't have to go to school. I feel a deep sadness around the racist intent of Confederate Memorial Day that continues to blur the reality of the war and separates people into sides. I believe in the importance, the necessity of remembering those who have died in military service. The modern conflicts of World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam took over 616,000 U.S. lives, not to mention the many more lives of others. The Gulf War, Iraq, and Afghanistan have taken almost 5,000 lives, and it's not over. As someone who has a brother who fortunately returned from 2 tours of duty in Vietnam, who has 3 nephews that have come back from serving in war zones, although one came back with a brain injury, who has 1 great niece and 2 great nephews currently serving, plus 2 more great nephews in college military programs, I am very aware of the dangers soldiers face and the ultimate sacrifice made by many, along with the devastating impact on their families. I would like to see Memorial Day become a day that is considered a call to action. If, on this day, we truly remember that women and men lost their lives, perhaps we can pursue action to stop this high cost of conflict. Perhaps, in addition to decorating the graves with flags and flowers, we decorate the offices of elected representatives with postcards, text, letters, phone calls, emails, stating our support for peaceful resolutions and demanding their action to manifest such goals. John F. Kennedy said, "As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. This is worthy of our consideration and efforts." The past, present, and future all depend on our memories. We build a history based on our experiences, including the experience of reading about or hearing about the experiences of others. Dr. Seuss once said, "Sometimes you never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory." From our individual, unique memories, we conceptualize ideas, we form opinions, we make choices. Some memories repeat a pattern that help us to learn. Perhaps it's a skill, like driving a car, or composing music, or playing a musical instrument. Some memories aid in our moral and ethical development. But all memories, conscious and unconscious, impact our choices for the present and the future. We're all familiar with the phrase, "Those who forget the eras of the past are doomed to repeat it." We process the world uniquely as we seek to become who we are meant to be. We learn to balance passion and emotion with reason, to ask questions, to seek answers, and we are free to make our own decisions. We experience the fundamental existential problem, that of being human, that of creating meaning for our own life. There is no need to ask the big why, because the answer doesn't exist. We build an encyclopedia of information based on our memory of experiences, and we use that to not answer a common why, but to develop an individual how. How will we live each day? We are free to experience life subjectively, to build our history, and through remembering, make choices to reflect who we are and who we want to become. I believe it is equally important to look at the legacy created by individuals who have formed a bond based on their desire to ask questions and to make choices to become their true selves and make this a better world. A small number of individuals curious about life and how to live it evolved into the First Existentialist Church, now Congregation. We have been open to all and provided a safe space, especially for those marginalized by the status quo. Gays and lesbians, homeless men and women found a place to be among friends. During the height of the AIDS epidemic, HIV-positive men sought comfort, some requesting that their ashes be spread on our grounds because their families had disowned them. Homeless men and women came to get a free meal and find a friendly face. Women found a support system where they could voice their concerns, their fears, their angers, their hopes. Our home has been a welcome place for people of color. Civil rights and social justice became our standard bearer. Love and peace are at our core. These are the memories that I have, the history of First E. We, as members and friends, are challenged to live up to this legacy, and our responsibility is to carry it forward. Thank you for listening. I hope I'll see you again next week. Bye.
Thank you, Marsha, for your inspiring words, as always. We hope that you will join us on Zoom immediately following this broadcast for our meet and greet. You can find the link in the comments section of today's broadcast. Next Sunday, we will be welcoming Sandra Barnhill of Family Forever with her talk, What About the Invisible Children? The Impact of Parental Incarceration on Our Nation's Youth. Until then, we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day today, a wonderful rest of your Memorial Day weekend, a great week in this coming week, and we hope to see you next Sunday at 11 a.m. Thanks so much for being here today. Bye-bye.
Thank you.